Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're doing another 8-4 Dragons of Tarkir Fate Reforged draft. We opened Profaner of the Dead, which is a strong card. I don't mind first picking that. There's also a Cobra in here though, which is really strong. And I think those are the only two real major considerations from this pack for first pick. So, I mean, my gut immediately goes to the rare because there is a lot of upside to this card. Uh, I mean, you can basically bounce your opponent's entire board, which is pretty insane. But Cobra is just like a really solid body. 2/5 death touch for 4 is just really well costed. I think we'll still go with the rare. I'm fine with that. I've played Profaner before. I screwed it up the first time, but I think I've got a better handle on it now. It's only creatures with toughness less than the exploited creature's toughness. It's not less than or equal to, which is very important to note. Which means Profaner only bounces if you exploit itself, it only bounces 2 toughness or less. So something to keep in mind. Okay, follow-up pick. Nothing necessarily in blue that I think is strong enough to second pick. I think I probably just want the Ruthless Deathfang. It's a pretty awesome card, and it happens to pair well with my first pick for sure. And it just works really well within its own color combination. Because if you're in blue and black, you're certainly going to see some exploit, and if you see exploit, then you're gonna be able to reap some good benefits from Ruthless Deathfang. There's nothing else in here that's like not so good. I like Mischief Kieran a lot. Tactician's playable, but certainly not an exciting second pick. I mean, Ruthless Deathfang certainly strikes me as the most exciting second pick here. Dragon Hunter is good too. Nice aggressive card, but I'm fine taking that Deathfang. It's very strong. Oh wow, second one, huh? Well, there's also a Coat with Venom and Palace Familiar. Um, Interesting. I'm pretty tempted to just slam a second Deathfang. It is double 6-drop right away could be problematic though. Palace Familiar certainly is going to work well in a blue-black deck and going to be a necessity for that. But I don't know, man. I think I'm going to take the second Deathfang. Um, there's also a Monument in here, which would be nice to table. If I could table Shambling Goblin Coat with Venom, I'd be happy. But we'll see what we table out of it. I'm going to take the second Deathfang. Okay, so now we've got Beltoll Dragon, which is more exciting than the Marshhulk, I think. I think this one is one of the better ones because of the hexproof. This and the lifelink one, I've said a couple times, I think are the best ones. I think I'm fine just taking a Beltoll Dragon here. Just take it over the Hulk. Nothing else like super nuts in here. I like Summit Prowler a lot. And yeah, not much else in here anyway. I mean, it certainly pairs well with our other dragons. All right. Get the Palace Familiar here is a really nice pickup. Otherwise, Self-Inflicted Wound is a fine like sideboard card. And Marshhulk would be a fine pick, but nothing exciting. Palace Familiar is actually just really nice right here. Really nice pickup. Okay, so now we've got some options. Zephyr Scribe versus Duress. Still don't like the Icebreakers very much. I probably just take the Scribe. I don't really like Scribe that much. It hasn't played very well for me. But I don't really need to take a Duress here. And Ancestral Statue doesn't strike me as a card that's going to be particularly good. I mean, it could actually work well with Exploit. You bounce an Exploit creature and you get to Exploit again. But I think we're just going to take the Scribe. Once again, unfortunately, Scribe just hasn't been too good for me in this format, especially considering we have 0 non-creature cards right now, but I think I'm just going to take it anyway. Okay. Well, there's Shambling Goblin, which does work well with Exploit, but I think I'd rather have the Silumgar Spell Eater. It's a pretty strong card. Creature that lets it counterspell stuff is really nice. And in a pinch, you can just play it as a 3-mana 2/3, which also isn't bad. So I think that's fine pickup here. Okay. There's Skywise Teachings, but Skywise Teachings is pretty unattractive in this deck at the moment, considering we have 0 non-creature spells. But otherwise, I'm taking a Negate, which is fine. I could probably just take a Negate. I like the Negate more than the Duress. I mean, Skywise Teachings has the most potential upside if I end up in blue-black. I mean, I feel like I should get a lot of non-creature spells despite not having any right now. It's early enough where I'm still certainly planning on picking some up. I think I'll take it. Um, I don't have to play it. I feel like I'm likely to see another negate, yeah, but I'm not necessarily likely to see another Skywise Teachings. All right, Dragonloft Idol. This might actually be a deck for it. We currently have 3 dragons, which is a very good count, but you have to actually have the dragon out to make it have good value. It still might just be worth picking here, but otherwise I take negate. Oh, actually, I may actually just want the Dutiful Attendant. It's another good exploit creature. I do actually think Dragonloft Idol would be playable in a triple dragon deck, but I'm going to take the Dutiful Attendant. Okay. So Mind Rot's an option, Duress, Lore Master. I feel like this is an okay time to take Lore Master. Even though we don't have any, like I said, we don't have any non-creature spells at the moment besides the Skywise Teachings. I just feel like if you're in blue and black, it's kind of hard to avoid non-creature spells. I would be very surprised if we ended up 3 packs in with just creatures. So I'm going to take it speculatively. All right, I think I actually want the Monument over the Goblin. This really looks like a good place for Monument because we've already got a bit of a high, not like a high curve necessarily, but it just seems like Monument would be good in here. So I'm going to take it. Mystic Meditation. Well, this card's pretty playable when you have a ton of creatures, so I guess we'll take it. Otherwise, it's a Spider Silk Net, which doesn't excite me that much. All right, what can I bounce with Ancestral Statue? I guess like Spell Eater, but that's not even that good. Lore Master, maybe for some extra value. I guess I'll take it anyway. I'm not going to play a Tygom Strike. All right, Duress is certainly main deckable. So overall, pretty successful pack 1. I mean, we have some powerful uncommons and Ruthless Deathfang that also work really well with blue-black. We do need to pick up some strong non-creature spells. Geez, what's Dragon Whisperer worth? Anything? I guess it's only worth a ticket. A foil one's worth like 11 tickets, but I think we're just going to slam a Youthful Scholar here. Pretty strong blue card. Certainly in blue-black especially. But we're still continuing this cycle of just creature spells and not that many non-creatures, which is interesting. But maybe we table Ojutai's Breath or something and we find something. All right. I think this is a pretty good spot for the Aven. Otherwise, Ojutai's Summons is good too. But I actually like, now that we have actual good exploit fodder and Palace Familiar, Dutiful Attendant, Youthful Scholar, I think the Vulturous Aven makes more sense. I'm already less interested in Ancestral Statue, and admittedly, Skywise Teaching still not looking that viable. I'm very surprised with how many creatures we have. But yeah, we'll just take the Aven. That's a little bit too good to pass up synergistically with our double Deathfang and Profaner of the Dead and stuff like that. I mean, we've just got basically a pretty decent looking deck going here. All right, this is a pretty efficient dude. Problem is, doesn't work that well with the rest of our deck, so, and I would have to splash for it, so it's slightly less attractive. Custodian of the Trove is a good way to buy time, as well as a card that works really well with Profaner of the Dead. Void Squall's fine, and Shambling Goblin's fine, but I think I actually want the Custodian. This strikes me as a deck that could get quite a bit of value out of this Custodian. Just because it blocks up the ground pretty well. We have like some pretty good flying finishers already. So I think I'm just going to take Custodian here. Certainly not the most exciting pick, but seems like it's pretty good in our deck. All right, I already feel like we have too many creatures for Deadly Wanderings. I could take Dutiful Attendant number 2. I mean, this card's certainly not bad when you have like a deck full of creatures. Otherwise, Monastery Lore Master, but we've managed to like not see any blue or black removal really. I guess we saw some like bounce, so maybe that's not true. But I guess we just take Dutiful Attendant. Wow, Ojutai's Command, huh? Encase of Ice is probably just going to be the pick. It's a good sideboard card. And I don't think I'm splashing Ojutai's Command. It's not worth anything anyway, I'm sure. Yeah, it's not worth anything. I guess I'll just take the Encase of Ice. It's a sideboard card. We're pretty low on removal, so it might be something we actually need. So problems with this deck. We don't have that much exploit. We pretty much just have Vulturous Haven and Profaner of the Dead, which could be a problem. Kind of miss here. I can take Ambuscade Shaman. This really isn't a deck for it. Duress number 2 is not really that exciting. Grave Purge really not that exciting. Could just take the Monument speculatively in case we see some red card I want to splash maybe. I'm really not giving up anything I care about out of this pack, so I might as well. Alright, well, there's a Reckless Imp, but not too terribly attractive. Does fly, but we have enough creatures. I think I actually take Contradict. I could take the Carp to pair well with the Profaner, I guess. But I'm going to take Contradict. I think I could play it. What I like about Contradict in this deck is I can either like flip up a Spell Eater or play the Contradict. So it's like counterspell options. We'll take it. Ooh, Drowner's a great pickup for us here, and it's about as late as we can get it too, so very nice. Yeah, I think Drowner is actually just exactly what this deck needed, since we were basically on the hunt for some good exploit creatures to pair with our fodder for exploit. And the next closest thing for us is probably just an Evolving Wild, so very nice pickup there. All right, table the Ojutai's Breath. I think we just slam it here. We're very short on removal, so to me, Ojutai's Breath just makes sense in this deck. Certainly more so than a second Lore Master. First one already looks sketchy, so we'll see what an Ojutai's Breath can do for us. So Updraft Elemental versus Wandering Tombshell. Tombshell's going to pair better with the Profaner, but we kind of already good on the 4-drop department. I mean, how many non-creatures do we have for Skywise Teachings? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's very low. Oops, did I not pick it? No, I ended up taking the Wandering Tombshell, which is, I guess, actually okay. I was contemplating it anyway. I think at this point, Teaching's just out anyway, so it's certainly not a big deal. I don't need a second Scribe. I could take the Goblin. I think I'm actually going to take Void Squall. I just am I'm in really just some dire need for some removal of some sort, and Void Squall at least is a nice way to buy some time. So that's good enough for me. I think there's a pretty high chance we play Tombshell in here, but at the same time, do I have too many 4-drops? Perhaps. Looking a bit clunky. We don't really have much early game, which could be a big problem. Uh-oh. What happened? All right. Got disconnected, missed out on just a ton of picks. Apparently I picked land 4 times. So that's really bad. Still not even sure if I'm back yet. All right, so it turns out I am back. Wow. Some pretty strong cards in here. Citadel Siege passed to us, but obviously I'm way too far down the rabbit hole to possibly make that work. So the question is, do I want the Surveyor or the Sure Shot? I have a lot of creatures, which kind of makes me want to do the Sure Shot. But I already have a lot of 4-drops at the same time, and I'm a little bit short on removal, like I said. So Surveyor is kind of nice for that. There's also Typhoid Rats, which gives me some more early game plays, since I think we're fairly vulnerable to aggressive decks. So, Sure Shot, Surveyor, Typhoid Rats. And I picked a Destructor Dragon too. Jeez. Well, I guess I'm hoping I didn't open a bomb rare that was worth a bunch. I don't know what to take here, actually. I think I'm just going to go Surveyor. Yes, it's expensive, but more removal is good. All right, I think this is absolutely a Merciless Executioner deck. We have all of these. We have like Pal Familiar, Double Attendant. So Executioner is just going to pair really well with that. Otherwise, a second Surveyor would be good too, but I think Executioner is much more in line with what we want. Let's cut the Skywise Teachings again. Let's cut Duress. I think the main deck. Let's take the Executioner pretty happily. Cut the Monument as well. Wow, that's interesting. Grave Strength is probably actually reasonable in this deck, but I think we need the Jeskai Sage. It's an early play, which we are very lacking in, and it's just a good card in general, so we'll take it. Okay, so we can take Lotus Patch in, another 4-drop, but at least it's a good 4-drop, so I don't have a problem taking it and playing it. I think Lore Master's just not good enough for this deck. I'd rather just have some more flyers to pair with our good ground blockers. And Lore Master, really, what can it find that I care about? Basically, Ojutai's Breath, Void Squall, Contradict, Mystic Meditation. Those are pretty bad options, actually. I'm not too amused by Lore Master in here, so let's just take the Lotus Patch in. All right, I think we actually need this Douse and Gloom. We're so short on... I mean, I like Sure Shot, too. I actually do like Sure Shot quite a bit. But I want some spot removal. I mean, I guess Sure Shot kind of is, but the problem is you kind of have to build towards it, and I already have so many 4-drops. I just feel like I'm at risk of getting steamrolled if I don't take some removal like Douse and Gloom here. I mean, I'm just so clunky. I'm going to take the Douse and Gloom. All right, there's a Muck Dragger, which is actually pretty good with the exploit, but we're going to take Douse and Gloom number 2. And at this point, I guess we start looking for some cuts. I especially don't like Zephyr Scribe in this deck, so I'm going to cut that. And then I might cut the Contradict. There's also Mystic Meditation, but I think Meditation's actually really playable in here with all these creatures, so let's cut the Contradict. Let's bring in a second Douse and Gloom. All right, Sage is actually a really nice late pickup here. It's going to continue to pair well with our exploit, like the Aven and the even the Executioner works well with that. And does not work well with Profaner of the Dead, however, but that's okay. Still definitely going to take Jeskai Sage. Okay, I actually want this Whisk away. We're still short on actual removal, so it kind of makes sense to me to take it here. And maybe at this point I just cut the Mystic Meditation. I've got enough, you know what, I've actually got enough card draw in my creatures. Palace Familiar, Double Jeskai Sage, Youthful Scholar, Vulturous Aven. Even Gurmag Drowner is kind of a form of card draw. So let's just slam a Whisk away here. All right, Typhoid Rats is a great wheel. Definitely going to take it. Definitely going to play it. Right into Being is something I can consider at the very least. Doesn't strike me that this deck needs it, but it's a good card. I don't have a problem with it. I don't really care about any of these cards. Guess the one I'm most worried about playing against is maybe not even the Rune Mark. I've got the bounce spells, but I don't care about Cleric either. Guess maybe Lightning Shrieker could be an issue. Refocus, I guess that works well with the Sages, but I'm not likely to play it. I'll take it anyway. All right, we'll take the Rune Mark there. And last pick, Great Orange Cruciak. All right, so despite getting disconnected, I'm still pretty happy with our blue-black exploit deck. double Ruthless. This deck looks pretty good. I think some people would argue I should probably run 18 lands, but I think 17 with a monument is going to be just fine for this deck. So I really only have to make a couple cuts, and we probably want to make it somewhere in the middle here. So Wandering Tomb Shell is a card that I said is good in this deck because it pairs well with the Profaner. I still think I like Custodian more than Tomb Shell just because it's easier to cast. But the problem is nothing else really works that well with Profaner. I guess Drowner works okay with it. But yeah, not that much else. So I might want, but if I'm just playing Tomb Shell because it pairs well with Profaner, that's not really a good enough reason for me. And I am trying to cut my curve down a little bit. I certainly want to play like all of these 3-drops and all of my, I don't want to cut 3 or less. Any of these spells seem really important to me. Let's cut the Tomb Shell. Even though it pairs well with Profaner, I want to run everything else. Like I like the evasiveness of Lotus Patch In much more than Wandering Tomb Shell. I don't really want to cut Void Squall either. Certainly don't want to cut Surveyor Deathfang, so I guess I'm going to have to make a cut of some sort. I just don't know what it is yet. I still kind of like Bell-Toll Dragon in here. I don't have a ton of finishers beyond the double Deathfang, so Bell-Toll Dragon's just really good for that. As a nice finisher. So I have to figure out a cut. I mean, I could cut one of my attendants. Yes, it's good exploit fodder, but I think all of my other exploit fodder is like slightly better. What I like about Attendant is if I've already sacked an Executioner, it's kind of nice to get Executioner back. So like you use Executioner and then you have Attendant later and you sack it to an exploit and then you get your Executioner back and you have another like removal spell creature that you got back from your Attendant. But I think it might be the weakest card that we've got. Like I said, I actually like Custodian in this deck because it's a 3-drop 2/5 that's going to pair well with both Profaner and our flying strategy. In terms of flyers that we have currently, it's Palace Familiar, Bell-Toll, Lotus Path, Vulturous Haven, Surveyor, Double Deathfang. So I mean, I guess we don't have a ton of flyers, but it still kind of strikes me as a Custodian deck because we've got a fairly good late game plan. I don't want to cut the Bell-Toll Dragon. I think I cut Dutiful Attendant. I like Spell Eater too much to cut it, and the fact that I can Megamorph and exploit and bounce 3 toughness or less things makes it good. In my mind. All right, I think I'm going to just cut it in Attendant. Despite having good synergies with Exploit, we have enough Exploit fodder already. We have double Sage, Palace Familiar, another Attendant, Youthful Scholar, and the only actual Exploit creatures in the deck that we have are Vulturous Haven, Drowner, Profaner, and that's it. And I guess Executioner kind of works well with Exploit too. This deck looks okay. Our removal, I wish, was a little bit better, but I think our dragons can do some good work for us. And I think we have enough early game to do it. I don't want to run 18 lands in this deck. I don't want to run 18 land Monument. I think we can get away with 17 in here just fine. Much more blue than black, by the way. So let's see what they say. They say 11-6. I don't like that. I can tell you that much. I think I'd much more likely do like 9-8. Even though we don't need a ton of black, we kind of want black early for Typhoid Rats. I don't have a ton of double blue either. I think 9-8 is perfectly safe with this deck. Even though we, clearly need more blue than black. I just don't want to miss out on black draws. And, Douse and Gloom is important to hit early. Typhoid Rats is important to hit early. I don't know how highly to rate this deck. I don't think it's, fantastic. I actually have been kind of underwhelmed with blue-black in this format in general, even though I did make it to the finals of an 8-4 with the last one. I can't say I've had like the most success with this strategy, but I mean, this looks like a fine deck. It looks perfectly acceptable and fine. So more than enough ways to kill my opponent. Just enough early game where I think we can avoid getting steamrolled most of the time, as long, totally dependent on our draws, of course. But I think we can very much avoid that. And overall, I like it. I think it's acceptable. I kind of want to stop doing the numbers on the rating scale because I'm just not. I don't think I'm very good at it. It's tough for me to evaluate outside of the 6 to 8 range, just because I don't know, it's difficult for me. But this deck's acceptable for sure, and I think it could win a draft if we drew well. So we'll see how we do. We're gonna play it like this. We'll see you round 1.